Hello everyone, and welcome to today's debate about Egypt, human rights violations in Egypt, and COP27. Firstly, we would like to thank Kampusu Hybernská for having us here, and today through the debate we will lead you. My name is Matěj Damian, and there is Dorka Fischerova, and to my right is our guest Karim Taha. Dorka, can you tell us a bit about Karim?
Okay. So Karim Taha is activist. He's interested in human rights, and he's originally from Egypt. And I would like to let you introduce yourself, so you can do it like as you want.
Sure, thanks. Thanks. Hello, everyone. My name is Karim Taha. I'm Egyptian human rights activist. Thanks for the invitation, and thanks for your attending. I started my activism in 2008 during workers' labor strike in Halal Kobra. It's such a big industrial city in Egypt. And after that, we were able to establish our political group, 6th of April Youth Movement, which is candidate to Nobel Prize in 2011 after the 25th of Revolution. Today I'm gonna give you overview about the human rights situation in Egypt, and briefly timeline since 2011 till nowadays. As you know, 25th of January 2011 there was the Egyptian revolution against Mubarak regime because of the economic situation and also human rights situation, and we were able to convince Egyptian people to gather in the Tahrir Square and other squares like Namis Sovobodi in Czech Republic, and Mubarak is falling in 11 days. So after that there was military council take the power in Egypt, and they did a lot of violation against the demonstrators, against the Christian people as well. So in 2012 there was presidential election, and unfortunately Muslim Brotherhood got the power through the election. It was a very hard year from 2012 to 2013 because of the instability of Egypt, also the weak economic and strikes everywhere and demonstration everywhere. So 2011 or July 2011 military coup happened in Egypt on the Muslim Brotherhood rule. After that, the blackface started in Egypt. There was tanks everywhere and soldiers everywhere, like Czechoslovakia, something similar. Nobody can talk or criticize the human rights situation or the political situation. We estimated that 60,000 political prisoners has been arrested from 2013 till the beginning of 2015. Most of them definitely the opposition. Most of them are Muslim Brotherhood, and the rest are the seculars or the opposition, secular opposition in Egypt. So then there was Rabaa massacre in 2013 when Egyptian police attacked the sit-in of Muslim Brotherhood, and unfortunately there was over 1,600 people has been killed by Czech guns, Evo Scorpion guns, and we published a report about it in 2019. It was in Prague with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. After that, the problems is in Egypt is we having khaki regime. I mean, like Czechoslovakia, similar. They don't give opportunity to the opposition to introduce themselves or to collaborate in the parliament or even in the local election or do anything, or even doing meeting in the parties. I'm gonna start to say that we have a very complicated situation in Egypt, human rights situation in Egypt. For me, I got arrested over 3 times. The second time it was 2014 when I was detained in high secure prison in Egypt in Wadi Natron, and I was tortured by electric shock in my brain, and they detained me in solitary confinement. Even they detained me with fanatic people, and they know that I'm atheist, but I grew up with Muslim Sufi family. So I got released after 8 months. I was innocent, and there wasn't any kind of compensation. I mean, moral compensation, that we are sorry for what happened for you in the prison. And a few months after, I got arrested again because I was in solidarity with one of our friends who has been killed by the Egyptian army when he was covering the Rabaa sit-in. Sorry, I'm quite traumatic. I'm suffering from trauma, so time to time I'm gonna be quiet because, yeah. Yeah, from 2013, as I said, Egyptian authorities arrested over 60,000 people, and most of them are still in the prison right now. I was lucky. I was one of them who got released and got released again, and I was able to escape from the country through the border between Egypt and Sudan. I spent like 4 days in very traumatic journey in the desert. Then I came to Czech Republic. I got the invitation or the visa from the ex-Czech ambassador. I know him. I joined many of round table between a lot of foreign countries in Egypt to find a solution or to solve the situation in Egypt. So 2014, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the current president of Egypt, he got the power through a fake election in Egypt, and then he started to imprison all the opposition. All means all. I mean, there isn't any political parties in Egypt or any human rights organization. I arrived to Czech Republic in 2015, and I got the asylum. I'm under refugee status here in Czech Republic. I got the asylum in 2017. After that, I was able to establish Egyptian Front for Human Rights as a Czech organization working to improve the human rights situation. We started to build the memory of our nation. I mean, to archive all the violation and all the restrictions again, which is happened from the Egyptian army before the revolution and after. And we succeed. We have such big organization now. We started such a small office in Brno, and now we have office in Geneva, and we have office in Brussels, and the regional office based in Tunis. Yeah, I'm gonna decrease the circle. I'm gonna focus on COP27, what takes place in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt from 6th of November till 18. We monitored a lot of violation against human rights defenders, foreign human rights defenders, and even ambassadors or European Parliament member. Many of our colleagues in the European Parliament and also directors of foreign organization has been banned to enter Egypt, and the reason is you are not welcoming here. First day start with congestion when the sister of Al Abdel Fattah is Egyptian blogger, such famous blogger around the world. She held a media conference with German delegation in Sharm el-Sheikh, and Egyptian allies start to attack her, start to accuse her as a spy and as implementing a foreign agenda to harm the country. And parallel, the Egyptian TV were spreading a fake news about European Union and about the Egyptian activists. who are in diaspora and who are attending the COP27 in Egypt. Also, there was Belgian MB has been arrested in Egypt because she just has a pen in solidarity with some of the Egyptian prisoners. I remember also there is Indian environmental activist has been arrested in Egypt because he has marched from Cairo to Sharm el-Sheikh, and I really don't know why they should to arrest him. He's free to walk or get airplane or get on train or bus. He's free. So they arrested him and asked him why you are walking. So it was quite weird. After the COP, the Egyptian authorities started the reprisals against the activists who collaborate in Egypt and outside Egypt as well. And during COP27, there was over 900 activists and politicians has been arrested during the COP. So, yeah, all the atmosphere was against the human rights in Egypt. I mean, they didn't give us any opportunity to describe or internationalizing our problem, and also they ban us to make any kind of media campaign. They ban us to even held some media conference or held a meeting with the other member of parliament in Europe, or even some other international organization like Amnesty International, for example. And we are trying now to pushing more and more to achieve some of the goals what we dealt before the COP with Bundestag, with Czech Parliament, with other entities in Europe, but unfortunately there's nothing. Even though European Parliament released a statement to demand the Egyptian authorities to stop reprising, but Egyptian didn't respond, and they describe it as a, again, foreign agenda, which is gonna harm the country and the stability and stuff like that. The situation economically is very bad in Egypt. Egypt in debt, and also inflation is touching everything. I remember that Egyptian bucks or Egyptian pound was higher than Czech crown, like 20 kron, and now is opposite. Czech crown is higher than Egyptian pound, like 15 cent or something like that. So Middle East are facing food crisis. Egypt and Tunis on the top of the list. We have unfortunately expectation, and it seems like it's bad indication that many of Egyptians now has been arrested in Czech Republic when they tried to cross the country to Germany or Netherlands. It means that in the next few months we will hear about more Egyptians are trying to escape from the country because of the economic situation and political situation as well. No one is safe in Egypt. Yeah, I expect, and my colleague as well, we expect migration wave, and we have to put in our considerations that Egypt is not Syria with full respect of Syria. For Syria, Egypt is 110 million. So if we will, imagine 10% of this nation are trying to escape, so they need a country bigger than Czech Republic. Plus Egypt is a Mediterranean country, so there is the sea, which is lead to Europe, to Greece, Italy, Spain. So, and even through other ways, the Egyptians start to do exactly like Syrians. They go to Balkanese countries like Serbia or Albania or Bosnia, and they deal with smugglers and go to European countries. So this is really, really dangerous indication. On the other hand, the European Union doesn't care about what is going on in Egypt, because they have the relationship between Egypt and Europe based on business as usual. So yeah, there is human rights violation. We know, we released a lot of statement as a European Union, but that's all. But we will never stop trading with Egypt, will never stop supporting Egypt by weapons and by guns. Yeah, and double standard everywhere. I mean, once Russia started the war or invasion in Ukraine, they stopped to collaborate with Russia. On the other hand, yeah, in Syria they still collaborate. European Union, you know, they do some collaboration with Bashar al-Assad, the president, and they have no problem. Bashar is still the president right now. So, yeah, European Union try to find way to compensate and also try to find way for money, for more income to European Union. They selling just weapons, guns, military equipments to Middle Eastern country, and these countries are suffering economically, and the people can't find even food, daily food, and this crisis is getting bigger and bigger day by day, and nobody is hearing here. Yeah, I know that Europe is the mother of principles, but is not implemented, is suspended till European Union will back strong again. So have to find solution. We are sharing this world together. European Union is not protected. I mean, yeah, it's like Middle East. One day it could be the same situation, and it was before. And this circle is going around, once on my side, once on your side. Can be take more 10 years, 15 years. Nobody knows, nobody has expectation about the war in Russia, how big is it or how small. Recently we are trying to organize the Egyptian diaspora. We established a think tank in France, in Paris, which is try to release a policy paper about the economic, about the politics, about art, about everything, as an attempt to survive the situation in Egypt. There is nothing in Egypt. Nothing means nothing. I mean, there is no art, there is no sport. There is, but it's not real, you know. I mean, it's kind of cartoon game, you know, like nothing is real. Everything is artificial, even the new administrative capital in Egypt. Something really fake. They has a skyscraper, which is glassy building, very high. And they built it in the desert, which is, you know, empty. They don't need to build such long or bad building like this. And also it's kind of citadel. I mean, they will protect themselves inside this capital. I mean, they has, for example, the presidential house in Egypt is 10 times bigger than the White House. And the octagon, or even the size of this capital is 4 times bigger than Washington DC. So such big, and only for rich people, and the poor people are living in the old capital, suffering from the economic situation, suffering from the illness, suffering from everything. And on the other hand, there is people are enjoying the life to the max. They have everything. They have luxury places, food, and protection as well. After 2 years or 1 year and few months, there is the presidential election. We put all our hope that somebody will elect itself in front of Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the current president. I remember in 2018 there was presidential election, and Sisi was versus a field marshal. He's such famous man in Egypt, and unfortunately Sisi arrested him. So I can't imagine that any of the seculars can do it, and I don't believe that we will achieve our goals, what we dreamed in 2011 before the revolution. We defeated, and most of us are refugees in Europe right now, and the rest are suffering in the prison. And the situation is really hard. I wish all the best for my people, for my country, but nobody has bottom to push to change everything around.
It is. Thank you for that. It's really depressing that these awful things are going on in Egypt, and we don't really talk about it here. And I think that most of Czech Republic don't even know something's happening in Egypt. I just wanted to mention that if anybody from the audience has a question, then you are free to ask. Just maybe raise your hands, and we will pass you the mic. So that's that. Are there any questions right now? Okay. I can pass you this one.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you if you think like European countries can really help you, or the change has to come from the inside of Egypt.
No, all the black channels is, I really appreciate your question, is really impact our work. So all the domestic channels in Egypt is blocked, unfortunately, and because of that we established a diaspora organization which is called engage with the international mechanism like United Nations Human Rights Council mechanism and the European Union, African Court, but all the domestic challenge in Egypt is completely blocked. If there is change, it will come from abroad, not from inside. I don't think there is no movement in Egypt, no political life, no economic life. So imagine if you don't have anything. So could you achieve like presidential candidate in the next presidential election? I don't think so, right? So there isn't life. So nobody will take the step. It's such a big step and very risky. As I mentioned, that there is a field marshal has been arrested because he just candidate himself in during the presidential election. So yeah, European Union can, but unfortunately European Union has a common interest with Egypt. They need to protect it. Egypt also has Suez Canal, so it means a lot for Europeans, specifically Germany, because they move all their product through Suez Canal. Czech Republic are selling guns, weapons to Egypt, arming the police, so they will not take any step towards to human rights violation in Egypt. France is one of the biggest seller of weapons to Egypt, Germany too, England too. So if you are in the European Union side, what will you do? I mean, will you say no, I will protect and implement our principles, or business as usual? Right? Easy.
Thank you for that question. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, so you've talked about a lot of awful violations of human rights. Do you feel like, or did the situation like escalated, like it's getting worse and worse over the years, or is there like a chance that it would be getting better? You understand?
No, I don't see any chance at all right now. The situation is really complicated because the Egyptian army occupied everything. I mean, the economic is completely khaki. There is no civilian economic in Egypt. The Egyptian army is owned everything, all the companies, all the production, all the material is owned by the army. So when you want to impeachment the army from the power, so put in your consideration that they have the economic as well. They don't have only the political power, no, they have also the economic power, which has such big impact, in the society. So it needs years and years, and the best situation is army has to leave the power and keep the economic and the timeline 10 years, 15 years. Every years the army has to sell companies to civilian. Yeah, they start to implement it in Egypt, but unfortunately they sell most of this stuff to Gulf Sewerage Fund, like to Emirates, to Saudi Arabia, without any transparency. So we don't know the capital when the company is established. We don't know how much big is it or how small. On the other hand, we don't know how much Egypt sold these kind of entities to the Gulf Sewerage Funds. So it's really complicated. We don't know even the budget of the Egyptian army right now. We have no idea. Is it big, small, and is it the same like the state? Because we have two budget: the army budget and the state budget. Which one is bigger? We don't know. There's zero transparency. So, because what I'm telling you, we try to learn more and release a policies paper which can survive the situation in 5 years, 8 years. 10 years, I don't know, but anyway, I will never back to Egypt again to help them to implement this agenda. Yeah.
I think the main question is: do people of Egypt know that there are these human rights violations, or are they manipulated into thinking that the government is doing good for them? And what is the opinion about the situation in Egypt of the let's say normal people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the public opinion in Egypt that Egypt is going to very bad phase, and since 2013 till 2019, Egyptian people were obeying the Egyptian TV, Egyptian presenters who are whitewashing the situation in Egypt. So after that, there is Egyptian contractor who was cooperating with the one of the companies of the army, to build the capital in the new capital in the 5th installment. He went to Spain and he started to share a lot of about corruption in the army and in the new capital. So the Egyptians start to be angry, so they start to expressing their anger through the social media, and the same guy invite Egyptian people to gather in the streets. 100,000 accepted the invitation, and on the other hand, over 9,000 has been arrested. And the opinions changed after the last inflation in few months ago. Egyptian people start to be upset, and they are not satisfied about the prices because it's really getting very, very expensive. Some products are expensive than Europe because it's foreign product, so they must to import it. Egypt now has lack of raw material, so most of the factories are shut down. They couldn't. Many of the people are unemployed because many of the factories shut down. Companies and also small and startup companies also shut down or moved to Dubai, free taxes and nice life. So the public opinion is gonna, or the situation in Egypt is gonna explosion sooner or later, and I don't wish that. I wish a soft change, but we don't have we can't control the people. We can't tell the people do this and don't do this, because we told them in 2011 and we were wrong and we defeated, so they harvest our defeat, unfortunately.
So you've already mentioned that there must be some help coming from the outside. So is here anything we can do from our positions?
Yeah, you are doing well. It's second event. I'm collaborating with Fridays for Future. First time it was before the COP. It was in the center of Prague. we had such big demonstration after that march. I really appreciate. I'm surprised by the new generation of Czech people. So it looks that there is hope in this country, which is, makes me really happy. You can absolutely spread the stories of the Egyptian activists in the prison or even in diaspora, telling them as a story to your friends, to your family, to change their opinion about this black region, Middle East. So I think one day they will change their opinion, and one day we will have a real country, secular country, which is fit all of us, Muslims and Christian and Jewish, atheist, agnostic, and all will be just humans. And then,
I have a question. I was thinking about if you could wish, be optimistic, what could European Union really do? Do you think they could change whole situation in Egypt?
I think European Union have a tool, and it's the sanctions against Egypt, but they can do something like that because European Union have the European Union are very carefully of the relationship between European Union and Egypt, European Union and Turkey, because both Egypt and Turkey has a lot of refugees, so they are really carefully. They are trying to satisfy the Egyptian and the Turkish as well, because they can open the door and the millions can join European Union. So sanctions is the best way right now, but if there is political will in the European Parliament to take a resolution or decision like that, it will be awesome for all of us, for the region, for the whole world. But I don't think so that they want to do something like that. There is common interest, really big, really huge, between the biggest countries like Germany, France, and England. They need to protect their interest. Plus, they want to bring money to European Union to solve the bad economic situation which is all of us are suffering from. I don't think so. The European Union has a lot of problems that must to solve: energy, Russia, Ukraine, and also the foreign policies to Egypt, to Afghanistan, to a lot of Tunis as well, and Mediterranean refugee crisis, and unemployed crisis, and what else? So there is a lot, even domestically in the European Union, there is a lot of problems. It's such old entity which is could be fallen after 10 years or 15 years. England is the first one jumped from the ship. So I think France is the second. So it's my expectation that they will jump and they will close, and that's it. Close the border, and that's it. We have refugees enough, and we take all the natural sources from Africa, and we keep the black people poor. They can't find even the daily food. So, and this is your problem. You have to solve it by your own. I don't have any I don't have any hope towards to European Union. They will not do anything. Even they can't help each other here in Europe. Go to Romania, go to Hungary, see the development projects is very slow, very small, and doesn't show that something will change in the future. Hungary is facing inflation, Czech Republic is facing inflation, and it's going to be worse and worse. There's Japanese bank indication recently released a report, and unfortunately Czech crown is the fifth currency which is facing a real dangerous in next 2 years. So they make it complicated, European Union, and they can't solve it. So we have to solve it, and also we don't have solution, so it's getting more complicated. The world is going like this more years, 10 years, till we will find solution, till we will try to be humans and accept each other. I think is more and more years. So no, I don't see that European Union can do anything, unfortunately. Yeah. Some talk.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Are there any other questions in the audience? Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to ask if the solution, if it's not better coming from the people themselves as a conscious and changing it from the inside, because there is no one political figure, one movement, because everything is being shut down, everyone's being scared, so ideas are not even flowing through. Don't you think, or it's better if the people change from themselves, or like stop, like they get like real information instead of the whitewashing by the media? Because if we as the Egyptian people, like if we wait for other influences to change it, it will probably not happen. Or, like, what do you think?
Actually, I don't see that Egyptian people are gonna uprising against the regime. It needs preparation before. I mean, it needs like the ice ball, which is started small and being bigger, and takes years. And the Egyptians started to express their anger just a couple of years ago. It needs more, like 8 years to be real anger. Yeah, there is no one movement, as you said, and it's very hard to build it because all the parties in Egypt is governmental, non-governmental parties. Like, for example, Egypt released a national strategy, and the participation was gongos, like governmental, non-governmental organization, governmental, non-governmental politicians. So they talk to themselves, and they believe that they achieve and they do best work. No, Egyptian people will not do anything because they're really afraid. And what happened in Rabaa massacre I mentioned before you come, it was prova for what will happen in the next. Blood was really everywhere, and the smell of the blood, it was everywhere. I remember every step when I was walking around the sit-in, and I remember the smell of the blood right now. So I don't wish something like that. Maybe they could uprising against, but my wish no, because it's gonna be really hard, it's gonna be really aggressive and bloody, really bloody. So yeah, situation is complicated and it needs hero to solve it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
And you think the people who are escaping, like immigrating to Europe, do you think they're thinking of coming back to Egypt sometime, or you personally?
Yeah, historically Egyptian people love Egypt, they love to stay in Egypt. Is the smallest migration till 2010 was Egypt in the Middle East. It was Tunis, Morocco, Algeria was the biggest, and Libya was the biggest. And Egypt was very small quantity of refugees, specifically in Europe. Yeah, I know some Christians usually go or migrate to Greece because of what is happening in Upper Egypt, congestion between Muslims and Christians. But generally, like current situation, no. I think, for me, I will never back to Egypt again. I can't do something. I need the integration program to how to deal with Egyptians and how to eat Egyptian food and how to walk in the streets. I'm here since a long time ago. I forgot even how the Egyptian street look like. So I consider myself a past Egyptian and a new Czech citizen, something like that, or without nationality. I'm just a human. It can be. Egyptian will never back to Egypt. Who migrate, I think they will never wish to back to Egypt anymore. Specifically in this phase of life in Egypt, is really hard. It's too much hard. Rich people are enjoying in Egypt, and poor people are really suffering, and middle classes are downgraded. Like if you are upper middle class, you belong now to middle class, and if you middle class too, you are in the fortunateless people, and fortunateless people are in another dimension. So yeah, no, this generation will never back to Egypt. I mean, my generation, we will never back to Egypt again. I could back like Czech people, go to Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada to enjoy my summer, and yeah, enjoy the sea and sun. But to live there in Egypt, wow, it's very dangerous. Even nobody will protect my future there. Nobody will guarantee my work, or because I'm, yeah, till I will die, I will defending for human rights. So I'm usually in danger. So I live here in Czech Republic. I will die as a Czech citizen with Egyptian flag. So it's good compromise, I think, right?
Thank you. That is scary.
Thanks.
Does anybody have another question? If no, then I have one. The COP27 took place in Egypt, even though there are these human rights violations. Do you think that the fact that the COP27 was in Egypt could possibly help the human rights situation because it was kind of medialized?
Yeah, it was such a big opportunity to internationalizing human rights crisis in Egypt. Yeah, we achieved a small objectives, really small, but not all. We were able to release like 30 prisoners from tens of thousands, and we were able to show all the world how the Egyptians are get rating from the power, the regime. Yeah, it was a big problem when Egyptian authorities arrested European MPs and also executive directors of international organizations, and all this news was spread around the worldwide. Yeah, it was good opportunity. At least we didn't give opportunity for the Egyptian regime to whitewashing, you know. Really, they didn't have. We were attacking from all sides till the end of the COP27. But who will remember, you know, the politician has a fish memory, so they don't remember what happened in COP27 right now, I think. There is a lot of crisis, as I said. So it's one of them, but it's not in the top of the priorities of European Union or even USA.
Past year showed us that Czech people are capable of, like, there was a big wave of solidarity, and earlier we talked about how it's different, like the perspective of people who are looking at Ukrainian people and people from Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, like, perhaps this can somehow change in the future?
I don't know if it can change in the future or not, but what I see is double standard. I remember when I arrived in 2015 to Czech Republic to apply asylum seekers, I went to Zastavka in Brno, and I found a lot of Syrian people who been in this place since like 5 years and 4 years, and they were in very bad conditions without any kind of support, just to give them some food and that's it, learn them Czech language. It was closed camp. I mean, the refugee can't go out, was in violation in the international law. I remember also the campaigns against the refugee from Tomaya Okamura and from other politicians, right wing. The lead campaign not welcoming refugees. It was everywhere. I remember when I was living in Zhishkov in 2015, 2016, I went to many bars to enjoy some beer or smoke some marijuana, and they kicked me out. Not because I'm a bad person, but because I have different kind of skin, or different color of skin, and I'm Arab. So yeah, I feel that there is a different treatment from the people and from the government towards to the refugees. And yeah, European Union and the Czech Republic are classifying the refugees like type A and the type B and type C. And yeah, when the war or the Russian invasion started, I found my neighbor knock my door. He asked me for help because I have big car. He told me, let's go to the border to bring refugees. But him, I will never do something like that, because I was walking the street and the people throw me by plastic bottles, or when I step into the bus or tram, they kick me out. So when I feel that there is equality between all the people, I will go with you and with you and with others, and we can bring millions of refugees here. I asked him, do you accept to go to survive Arab in the border? He told me no. So yeah, I know from the beginning. Because of that, I refused his request, and I don't think that this is changing. By the way, Czech Republic are investing, so Czech people are old nation. I mean, the old people takes a big place in the society, and they also takes a lot of money from the budget as insurance or financial benefits. So there isn't manual worker, I mean, as a plumber or driver or. So there isn't. All the people in Czech Republic are educated, so they need workers. They saw Czech government, they saw that Ukrainian people are the best. They are white, has a blue eyes, and also they speak a similar language. So let's accept as much as we can and support them to provide for them a flat and also monthly pocket money and also some other benefits. Everything is easy, nobody been in the military camp. On the other hand, Syrian, it was the same, and I can't say worst or better situation, but it's the same, it's under war, and the people has never get any support. And as I said in the beginning, Czech Republic are classifying the people according to your color of skin, your tongue language, and other elements. So yeah, we can't change it as well. I'm sorry, I'm not gloomy, but I'm trying to be really realistic. I'm trying to reflect what I'm feeling as a refugee in Czech Republic, and as a human rights defender who grow in Egypt and spend most of my life in Egypt. So I'm trying really to be honest with you. I can tell you that tomorrow is amazing, and yeah, flowers and birds, sound of birds everywhere, but it's not true. I think your generation has such huge responsibility to change something in the world. What, I don't know. I don't know really. There is a lot of problems. I think you can choose one, the environment at least, to have a good air, to breathing a good air at least, I think this is one of the best ways, and the politics is for the politician, and one day we will have, our European Union will have a good politician which can provide such good policies to our region. Yeah.
Are there any questions in the audience? Okay, so do you feel like if Egypt held another conference such as it held the COP27, it would help again, or do you feel like it's just the thing that Egypt would have a short spotlight on the human rights violations, and then it's just like people will forget about it and act like they never knew about it, and nothing will change. My question is, do you feel like the spotlight that it had during the COP27, can it really do something in a long run, or is it like just a short like help?
Yeah, there is some of our objective are gonna through a long-term plan, and others in the short-term plan. The short-term, it was like no reprisals, don't arrest any of our colleagues or of our friends, and release as much as we can from the prisoners. In the long term, to release all the like amnesty, like release all of the prisoners, political prisoners in Egypt. So this is the long term, and it needs such big effort. It needs a legal advisors who can drafting how to make or how to cross the democratic transition period through real justice. What happened in Czech Republic during Václav Havel? There was a compensation for the people who has been detained, the families who has been executed. So there was a moral compensation, like give you moral compensation through the court that you are innocent and you have never did this such fucking accusation. And on the other hand, they give them some money, give them flats in the Banilaks and some works, right? These need long time. If it happened in Egypt, we can start a new phase, but the country, it will be completely in debt. So, you can't fix everything in the same time. But in the long term, we have some goals and the plans. We are trying to achieve it and implement it with the European Union and with German Bundestag and French Elysee, but need long time. And as I said, business as usual. But now we're linking human rights with the business. For example, if Egypt will come to buy guns or weapons from Germany, Czech Republic, any European state, parallel they have to release, for example, 1,000 political prisoners. This is one way to satisfy all. You sell your military production, and the Egyptians are paying, and the Egyptian has to release them to make all satisfied, like the civil society and the Egyptian government and also Europeans to get more money. This is our plan now, which is going to be implemented in the next 2 years.
Any questions in the audience? I wanted to ask about the presence of United Nations in Egypt, because what is there like any help from United Nations, and if not, why do you think so? Because, for example, in Afghanistan, that is now controlled by a terrorist group, they are still accepting help from United Nations.
United Nations, I mean the Human Rights Council in Geneva, they trying to provide a support through the mechanism. If you, for example, we are a human rights organization, we receive some complaints, a lot of complaints from the prisoners because of the ill treatment or about the bad detention center. We send a complaint to them, and they talk to the Egyptian government, and they really provide help. This is a structured entity, is different, and there is no politics. This is some mechanism you have to follow, like application you have to fill, and then to submit it to the special rapporteurs, and they take a decision after that. But European Parliament is full of politics, full of lobbies, and it's not easy to. I really appreciate the work of the United Nations. They try as much as they can, and even during the COP, they provide a protection for many of my colleagues. So this one entity can really do something real, and I touched their their help, and I appreciate.
Are there any, I would say, final questions in the audience? Because I'm looking right at the time, it's gonna be 8, and we were supposed to go about this was supposed to be like an hour long. So
Can I have one last question?
Yeah, definitely.
If you could have a wish, what would it be?
Me?
One wish, yeah.
One wish? Here in Czech Republic, you mean, or in general?
In general, whatever.
One wish? Wow. Only one? Yeah, I have many, to be honest, you know. But yeah, one wish. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, you know, I'm telling you directly, to leave Czech Republic. One wish for me, I want to live somewhere else, not Czech Republic, so anywhere else in the world. I mean, Spain, Italy, Mediterranean, they look like me, so they will not recognize me as a refugee, and I will have a normal life without any problems. And also they have very good food and music, so, and sea, I will really enjoy to the max. And work in anything, even beach boy who, you know, give you the towel, and I have no problem with that. But this is my wish now, because I'm really have a very bad life here in Czech Republic. I'm facing racism every day and everywhere, and I don't know. Yeah, and that's enough. I really burn out from. I really love Czech as a country. I love my friends, the Czech friends, but the life here is hard, and I think is only for Czech people or only for European people. Not all. You have to be picky when you choose. Yeah, nations who come to Czech Republic to work, for example. Yeah, it's my wish right now to have a nice life and a normal life somewhere else. But believe this is really nice countries. The problem with me, not with the people. The people, this is their country. This country is Czech Republic. Is for Czech people, and I'm here as a guest. But the guest is feeling uncomfortable, so I would love to go to somewhere else, which is the people open their hand like this, to have some joy, some cuddle, and I will be happy there and enjoying the time and stuff like that.
Right, thank you for your hand.
You're welcome.
Any other last questions? If not, then thank you so much for coming. It was really, I would say, eye-opening and really interesting. And yeah, thank you. Can we have a round of applause for Karim?
Yeah. Really, thanks for the invitation. I'm really interested to invite me again anywhere with groups like this. I will be very happy. I feel that I'm surrounded by tolerant people. I really touch the love in their eyes, all of them. So, and after this conference or the debate, go to drink beer or something, because it was really tough. And yeah, enjoy your evening, and see you soon in the next event. Or yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching, and thank you the audience for coming, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, and for many questions.